Don't you want it? 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 You lose your little mind. My Deadlights.
Welcome to the Deadlights podcast. I'm your host, Sam Johnston.
And I'm your other host, Leslie, bringing you your weekly dose of horror. And we have our special guest today, Armando.
Hello.
Woo!
Welcome
Insert
to...
cheer.
Insert cheer. Awesome. Well, welcome, Armando, to the Deadlights space.
Yes.
What we watched today was The Ring
Sorry.
from 2002, directed by Gore Verbinski and written by Ehren Kruger. A journalist must investigate a mysterious videotape which seems to cause the death of anyone 1 week to the day after they view it. This movie is about something that kind of is just looming over you the entire time without you even seeing something. This timestamp of 7 days after you watch it, it's like you can't stop time. You can't stop the days from turning into night into days again. So it's like this inevitable thing. You're gonna get 7 days into the future, and that's what makes it kind of scary.
It does.
And
the only way that you get to survive is if you pass the torch, if you do whatever it needs to happen for you to not die.
Yeah.
Right.
So.
And this movie is definitely about... It's interesting that you said you're in a media drought, because I feel like this movie is about like media consumption. You know, the danger of overconsumption of media and where and how it could kill you in this case, I guess.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. I remember as a kid, I was just like, oh, the little like TV bad thing was just as a joke, but it like repeated a lot of times in this movie, and I was like, oh, they were actually trying to like say something besides scare the shit out of me.
And also the year that this came out, 2002, this was a year after...
20 years
20
ago.
years ago, for sure. And a year after 9/11, and we then went into war with Iraq. There's a lot of...
Double yikes.
Double yikes. There's a lot of scary things that we were seeing on TV.
Yes.
A lot of really horrifying real-life images that we were seeing. And so...
And one of the victims in the The Ring, is a little boy. And I think that's what she started realizing, because she like lived in this really tall building. Everybody had a TV, and it was like adults and children that were viewing this. So
we're so reliant on our televisions to bring us news and also entertain us, take us out of the world. It's an escapist thing.
And also, like, I think electronics in this movie was just like a huge thing. So not only did we have our TVs, we had our phones, we had our camcorders, our computers.
Yep.
So it was just very, like, I think everything that was popular and booming and coming of age with electronics was in this movie.
Yeah, and how you can like misconstrue objectives of whatever you're being shown, like, because who the bad guy was like switched up a million times, and like they were like trying to like catch something in the frame, like what's actually being said or not said, which you know goes back to like, you know, in a post 9/11 era when we're being shown a lot of stuff all the time, regardless of what the news is, and there's always like a hidden meeting going on behind the scenes.
Also, wait, before we like jump in, I just want to say sensory, give like an advisory,
An
a
advisory.
warning, an advisory.
Yeah.
There you are, an advisory on how fucking loud this movie is.
Very loud.
Very loud. But then like the actual, like, speaking is not that loud.
Yeah, this movie does they're playing with keeping us in a lot of very quiet, still moments, and then immediately they're using it for jump scares.
Oh, absolutely.
Many times.
Yeah.
The noises, though, is like, when it's loud, it is freaking loud.
It is, like, chilling.
Yeah, it's like in your face loud.
Okay.
Um,
Under your skin.
All right.
Well,
so from the top.
From the top, make it drop. That's what I was supposed to say.
TV static. Shh. And then we go to this house of these two teenage girls watching TV and talking about how the radio waves are in the air now. And they're fucking with our brains.
And it's a whole conspiracy.
Yeah. At the same time...
It's not a conspiracy.
That's actually why I brought you on today, because we knew you were going to reveal the truth about all these. You're a truth sayer.
I did leave the tinfoil hat at home.
Oh, okay. Damn.
I trusted your equipment.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Teen high school gossip.
Mm-hmm.
And then they talk about this tape that when you watch it, it kills you in 7 days.
And it's the girl that we then realize hasn't watched the tape.
Becca.
So Becca was telling Katie and Carrie. Katie like started like watering a little bit.
It was actually kind of cool. A couple times they do this in the movie where we're watching a character reveal information, like this girl's talking about the tape this whole time, but we're not seeing a reverse angle of Katie. So we can't see what her reaction is until at the very end when we cut back to her reaction. And she's like shaking.
Yeah.
Like she looks like visibly like, who told you about the tape?
Because we get the infamous. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the infamous line of, you will die in 7 days.
Mm-hmm.
Where she's like, and then you finish the tape and then you get a phone call. And she's like, who told you that?
Yeah. Because they apparently found the tape. It was supposed to be a football game. We were trying to record a football game.
Out in a cabin? What are you doing?
Yeah, shouldn't you outside, like, enjoying the nature or something?
Or playing a board game or something.
Yeah. Instead, they're inside trying to watch a football game.
There are a couple times the movie, like, tries to squeeze in, like, some tropes and, like, some plot lines that's just like, well, we need to make this work. So they're trying to record TV in the woods. That's scary.
Yeah, whoopsie. Shouldn't do that. This is the danger of not enjoying the outdoors.
TV bad.
TV bad.
TV bad.
But yeah, she reveals that they all watched the tape and they got the phone call. And then she, like, starts choking and, like, falls on the floor. But then it's just a joke. She's like, oh, whatever. And they go back to gossiping again. It's, like, not even about the tape at all. But then, phone rings. And then we get another fake out where it's her mom on the phone, I think.
Yeah, the friend answers it. And then she like passes it to the girl that lives there. And she was like, oh my God. She like holds it and she's like, hello? It's like, oh, yes, Mom.
Oh,
yeah,
hey,
no,
Mom.
We're about to go to sleep right now.
Yeah, and Becca walks off upstairs. And Katie's still on the phone with her mom. And then we get a flip-on of the TV by itself.
So she heard it from downstairs.
Yes, she was downstairs, and then it flips on in the background. She turns it off, tries to walk away. It goes on again.
She thinks it's her friend. She's like,
Yeah.
Becca, stop fucking with me.
Fuck you.
Bitch.
You hoe.
You fucking.
That was a line. I didn't say that. That was a line I'm quoting, all right? They call each other hoes. Uh-oh. Door's leaking.
Yeah, something's
Water.
wet.
Something's
Yeah.
wet.
That should not be wet.
Doors are not supposed to leak.
No. But she slowly grabs the soggy doorknob, turns it, and as soon as she opens it, like a super like fast cut into the TV and to her, and we're just gone.
Yeah.
Sensory overload time.
Absolutely. All over the place.
Boom, done.
Actually, maybe you shouldn't see this if you suffer from epilepsy.
It's very jumpy.
Yeah.
I mean,
the images.
Yeah.
And then it's all one tone.
Super green.
Except for that first scene, actually. Otherwise, we just get green and blue.
That's true.
And it reminded me of Twilight because they had to use, like, blue gels to make things look, like, overcast.
I think it reminds me of, like, a VHS, like the bluish hue of screens, you know. So I guess now, because you're right, that first scene was lit more true to life.
Mhm.
But now that the shot that just happened where we literally go into the screen, afterwards things are bluish green like the hue of a TV screen.
Mm-hmm.
Because we cut away from that and we are now in school. We're in school with Aiden, who is, he's got to be like 10, but he has like the disposition of like a 40-year-old man.
Yeah, no, he's not 10. He must be like 8 or 9.
Because that was a
Okay, that's
kindergarten. That was a kindergarten classroom they went in.
No matter what, he's a young kid, but he acts like an adult man.
Yeah.
And, I mean, it's because of the situation that he comes from. I mean, his mom, who we also meet in this scene, Rachel, is
A single mom.
She's a girl boss.
She's a girl boss.
Working every day. That's all she does, really. She's also very in charge. When we see her later in her job, her boss tries to fire her, and she's like, "No, I'm not fired. I'm working on a case that's too good."
He was like, "No,
he just gives up.
You're fired," and it's like, "No, I'm not."
And then she just like does one of these too at the end of the scene.
Yeah.
Like she's very in charge, seemingly in control of her life, but I also think it's because she is dealing with a lot. She's kind of spiraling.
Yeah.
Circle.
Oh. Like a ring?
Because, I mean, ultimately she's...
Which she didn't have.
She did not have a ring, no. Because ultimately she...
She probably never will after the end
is
of
not a
movie.
good mom. Yeah.
Well, they're trying to imply that she's not a good mom.
Yes.
And she kind of isn't, because she does treat her child older than he is. Yeah.
And relies on him more than a child that age would be normally, I think, because he's like cooking his own meals. He's getting up before her, getting dressed,
They're
setting out
PB&Js.
I mean, okay, but still
impressive.
He's like getting himself ready and going to school.
Yeah.
by
She ironed
himself.
her dress for
That
the
too.
funeral.
Put out her dress for the funeral. Like he's obviously very independent and self-reliant. And he doesn't talk much through the movie, and he spends it mostly drawing.
Haunted,
yes. Because what is established in this first scene when Rachel comes in to meet with a teacher is that the girl that we saw in the first scene is his cousin. His cousin. So, and they were very close to each other. So he's obviously very affected by it, and he's been drawing her underground,
being
for
put
a
to
week
bed
before she died now.
Yeah.
So Aiden's on some stuff.
He's got some Sixth Sense thing going on.
Well, like, we hear towards the end of this scene that the cousin had told him he was the only one that she told.
Yeah.
That she had seen this video, this VHS, and then she was gonna die in 7 days.
Yep. But Rachel is like, he's fine.
He'll get over it.
He's a kid.
It happened 3 days ago. Like, what are you talking about,
like,
Rachel?
have you talked to him about it? And she's like, oh, you know kids, they don't like to talk about things.
It doesn't mean you shouldn't talk
Right.
about
It's
things.
like,
as the teacher so wisely said.
Yes.
No, please, parents, any parents out there, talk to your children.
Please.
No matter how fucking creepy and haunted they look, they're especially those ones. Talk to those ones.
Yeah, especially those. Talk to them. And in the next scene, it's just like them in the car, not talking. She's just looking at him in the rearview mirror, and he's like, "What? What?
What do you want, Mom?
What is it? Nothing. You're fine. I'm sure." Yeah. Well, and because he's got to be up the next day to get ready for the funeral. Right. You know, he's up early. He's making the coffee.
Before the funeral, he had a meeting.
He had a meeting. He had to go to the bank. He's already in his little man tux, and he laid out her clothes for her. Because she's a freaking mess in the morning. She's like running around.
Yeah.
And they go to Katie's funeral, and he's obviously like in shock. Like he's just standing in front of her picture, just like staring off into just the blackness of death as a 10-year-old child.
Right,
And
the
Rachel
iris.
just comes up by, like, just leaves him alone. Like, she doesn't even say anything.
Well, she's got to do investigative work now.
I gotta go back to work.
She sees what I'm assuming is her sister.
Yes. So yeah, this is her niece.
This is yeah. No, she doesn't look so affected
No.
until the mom is like, "You're gonna research this, right?"
Yeah. Yeah, the only reason she really gets invested is because she sees her sister. It first of all doesn't even seem like she'd called her sister to like say I'm sorry before this. I'm so sorry. Like this seems like the first time she's talking to her since their daughter died. Not too concerned, but the sister does ask her to like find out what happened because the doctors can't figure it out. They have no explanation of how Katie died.
I mean, if I was a doctor and I walked into that scene with her face just distorted that way,
Yeah.
I would have been like, okay, this is some spooky shit.
That is
like,
that is when we get that like this first like jump scare of
Yeah.
I saw her face, and then we cut really quickly to Katie's face, loud. She immediately, once she equates her niece's death with like work, she's like in now. Like now she's invested in this death.
I know.
So she goes into investigation mode literally immediately because she goes outside and talks to
The teens.
their friends. Yeah, who start, she is all cool. Can I get one of those? I don't
Yeah,
remember.
I used
uses
to,
their cigarette to light hers.
and
Oh,
she's like,
I remember getting high.
yeah, and then that's when they like kind of like broke a little bit of their like guard with her because they're like, oh, she's an adult, she's probably gonna tell us that we can't smoke or whatever.
Yeah.
And then she's like, I used to smoke too, and they're like, oh, she's
she's
one
cool.
of us.
She's cool.
She's a bad mom.
Bad mom. Oh, she's a bad mom. Okay, got it. And that's when she learns about the tape. Yeah, at the same time, we got little Aiden going up to Katie's room. He goes up there. He's just like super sad again, though. Like he's just like touching her shit and just like obviously a depressed kid who's processing death. And here comes Rachel. She's like, "What are you doing in here?
You're not supposed to be in here.
We should get out of her room." And he's like, "It's not her room anymore." Oh, yikes! Super sad little kid.
He had to remind her that she was dead. That's the reason why they're there.
She's not processing any of this shit.
This lady.
Where is she putting these feelings? My God.
Absolutely.
She's gonna get like stomach cancer later from swallowing all this shit. I swear to God.
It can't be good for her.
Oh
This can't
no!
be good.
What if that? No! Oh no! I keep all my emotions in my gut, in my stomach. So then, if I'm ever like happy or nervous, it just like knots up in there.
Maybe that's a good knot.
Then
Other
I
than
can't.
this-
I
Because you're
can't
aware
eat.
of it.
I
you
mean,
know?
I guess so, but
This is like grief knot. This is like grief feelings that
yeah,
she's swallowing.
it, so then she can poop it out.
Hopefully.
Or pull it out, you know?
Ooh.
Sorry if you have to
Yeah.
hear that.
Yeah, she's just so not there. at
No,
all. She's not. She
not
wants
at
to be
all.
other place. She's again in investigation mode already.
Mhm.
She's already thinking about the next place we gotta go because she then is in Katie's room and does a little like searching of the room and finds the ticket for the photo, like the 24-hour photo.
It was like in this binder that the girl had.
Yeah.
Essentially her like journal,
kind of like a
essentially.
scrapbook or
Mhm.
something. But yeah, she finds that and immediately goes and processes those photos. Says, "We got a clue. We got to go find out what that is."
Yeah.
And it's pictures from the cabin trip. Yay, kids being kids. But then we get to the last photo. What's wrong with the camera? All their faces are warped.
More warbles.
Yeah.
There's
More warbles.
Face warbles. Like she's investigating like the teens that were all with them on the trip,
Mhm.
and they're all dead. I think it reveals that
Everybody died at 10 p.m. the same
Yes.
time that Katie did.
10 p.m. everyone dies because that's probably when they watched the tape
Right.
Mhm.
at the cabin. Yikers. I think this is when she actually goes to visit the cabin
Right.
Yes.
for the first time. Shelter Mountain Inn.
Shelter Mountain Inn.
Yeah.
Mountain.
Shell Mountain Inn. And we go back to this image a couple of times, but it's the tree with all the really red
Mhm.
leaves. And when the sun hits it right, I think she says at sunset, it blasts a bunch of red light onto this cabin, cabin 12.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's the most different colored light that we've gotten so far.
It's red.
Is blood red.
Blood red.
It's like a what do I call it? Like a blood moon.
Mhm.
Kind of
Oh, yeah.
very omen. It doesn't mean anything good is coming.
Oh,
That's for
absolutely not.
sure. That's for sure.
The only colors we're getting is fucking blue, green, and then red.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Woo,
no.
Stark. Yeah, it's pretty wild. It's cool. I really do like that idea, because it's not just like this random red color that they threw in there. It like has like
It's a maple.
an actual origin.
Yeah.
The tree makes it that color. It's cool.
Mhm.
I like that idea.
I don't know. Like, the logic of the leaves getting hit by the sun and illuminating that much red, and I think it would have to be right in front of the window.
It definitely is not possible how they do it, but it is
cool.
a cool kind of imagery there.
It's cool.
Yeah, and like the more it was like as she was putting the tape in, like the more red the room
Yes.
got, and it was like, hell yeah, give me that foreboding.
I don't know. I'm trying to think of like the whole like the what it means as a symbol for the whole movie is it's like this thing that's already it's like out of place as this like red tree in this blue and green world that we're in. And it brings this like red light, which is an omen, which is ultimately kind of what Samara is. She's like a thing that's out of place, plucked from wherever she was plucked from and brought to somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
But she's an omen.
Yeah. But like the tree was like kind of beautiful, like it was a very nice looking tree, and like you would think not, like you would be like, oh, I'm glad that tree's there, like a child, right? Mm-hmm. You're like, oh, children aren't bad, but
seemingly innocent.
You don't want to see that tree or this kid.
No.
She throws in the tape, and I try to write down as many images as I possibly could.
I got ring. I got the blood in the ocean.
Yeah.
I got the chair just sitting, like, just empty. And then somebody combing it, like, hair. And then the mirror where the mom is combing her hair.
Mm-hmm.
And then Samara.
Window. Looking up in the window.
And then the person on the window. And then from there,
and
the images go really fast.
Finger on the nail.
Oh, yeah.
And then the ladder. And then the chair spinning upside down.
There's that maggot scene that then turned into like little people.
Yep.
Just
really
like
weird transition. With
what
how they made it
was
look.
that?
I don't know.
That was awesome actually. Because it was maggots all on top of each other, and then it was like people in mud or something.
Yeah, trying to get out.
So many.
If
all
you
the
weren't,
people have seen the tape. I don't know.
Oh shit!
And they're all fucking stuck in there like whoever's victims.
Consumed.
Oh, that is good.
They're consumed in this video.
Oh, yikes. Yeah. That's.
And then it ends with the well.
But then we also get an eye of the horse, and then the
Dead
chair
horses.
spinning backwards.
Yeah.
The ladder falling with the jump of the mom falling off the cliff.
Mm-hmm. A lot of seemingly random shit right now.
Yes.
But then the last thing we see is the well.
Yeah,
That's
underneath.
it. And then TV static. And she's like,
what the fuck? And then,
another clue. Yeah! Yeah! Bring.
Bring! And then she goes and picks it up, and then she was like, 7 days.
Yeah, incredible service. This chick's got.
What did she say?
She had Verizon 5G before it came out 20 years later.
She had a satellite phone. But this is when we start the day countdown. We get Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
So we got 7 days to go.
So she watched it on a Wednesday?
Dun dun dun, which is when we record this podcast.
Yes.
Which is weird. Today is a Thursday. Or, I'm sorry, a Wednesday. Thursday starts off with Aiden getting ready for school, and he walks out and actually crosses paths with
his dad.
Noah, I believe his name was.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, they know each other.
They know
each other. And they just pass. He lets him go by himself. to school. This little kid was making himself a PB&J, packed it up in his lunch, and then he was like, Mom, I'm leaving to school. All right, bye.
Yeah, she doesn't come out. She doesn't give a
No,
shit.
she doesn't.
Also, they like stared each other down for like 30
Yeah.
seconds. I thought like this man was about to like square up with a child or something for not getting out of his way.
Yeah, it's like clearly. I mean, I would guess that he was never there before Aiden was even born. Like when Rachel got pregnant, I'm assuming he was immediately like, I can't do this. I can't
Oh,
do it.
absolutely.
So he's never been around. He's
No.
never been a father for this
Mhm.
kid. And clearly by that look, it's like they don't even say hi to each other. They just have this weird, awkward, distant moment. And that's been their entire relationship, just
Yeah.
distant completely. But they do know who each other are.
Yeah,
which
they
is
are.
weird.
Right.
So maybe he's tried a couple times to come around. I don't know.
I think so. It seemed like Rachel and Noah had an established friendship.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of that like off and on type of thing.
Yeah.
And
Because this
yeah.
is when they're together for the first time that we see, and their relationship is seemingly friendly.
Mhm.
You know, they can rely on each other. They're gonna be in each other's lives because of Aiden. I think no matter what. So, but yeah, like she calls him when she needs help. So,
Immediately, yeah.
Immediately, yeah. He's the first person that she
help
calls.
in different ways.
Ooh, yeah. This is when she kind of just like brings him in on the investigation. I guess has him watch the tape, which I kind of thought was interesting. Like, I guess at this point she doesn't know how dangerous it is,
Mhm.
but she definitely knows something's weird about it.
Yeah. Yeah, she's like, okay, these 4 teenagers watched this like movie, and then now they're all dead. And they got a phone call, which what happened to me.
Mm-hmm.
And then I guess she kind of wanted to see if it would like happen to him too, with the phone ringing.
So he was kind of a test.
Maybe she was just in a state of denial still. You know, it's one day in. I don't
Yeah.
want to assume a
Oh,
demon's
yeah.
after me.
And he watched it a day before,
A day after.
after her.
Mhm.
Yeah, a day after her.
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe you're right. Because right after the call happens, and she's like, "Oh, shit,
Fuck.
this is real." At the end of the scene, he leaves like he doesn't really believe. He hasn't seen anything that crazy, so
No.
he doesn't believe that.
He calls it a student film.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's like, "Were you trying to scare me?"
Yeah.
He's a pretty distant guy, which also like doubles down on the whole like he like uses cameras for a living, so there's always like a space in between like actually getting too connected to anything, which is also why he can't connect to like his family. So yeah, he's gonna be a doubter, a doubting Tom for
Yeah.
sure.
Which she is too. 'Cause
Yeah.
she's a reporter, so she also kind of has this lens that she can separate herself from tragedy, essentially, and just report on it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
They both have an out.
right.
And the next scene is her going to the AV room and actually making a copy of the tape for the first time. And she realizes that the time code is all like
Wonky.
Scrambly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
scrambly, warbled.
Mm-hmm.
Warbled.
The time code is warbled for sure. It's Friday. And this is when she's showing
Noah.
Noah the tape and the time code. But then his, how did he introduce her? Assistant, intern?
Yeah, he called her an assistant intern. Both of those things. I
Both of
think.
those things. And then she kisses him on the cheek.
She's in college. Isn't that what he says?
Oh yeah, she's studying this.
Yeah.
And then our character, what's her name?
Rachel.
Rachel.
Rachel!
She's like, of course. Probably seen this multiple times before.
Mm-hmm.
And then she kind of was like, yeah, you're never going to change, huh?
Yeah. It's interesting because she's been so, like, gung-ho about this investigation this entire time. She drops the investigation completely in this moment and just goes back to old... and this is what she explains in this next scene is, like, we're going to just have this same argument over and over again. Like, she's gone back to probably what broke them up in the first place is he can't grow up, and she can't settle down.
Yeah.
And she doesn't want to have this argument again. She's just like, can we just skip to the part where I leave? She's over it. And then it is Saturday. It's the weekend. Yay. And we spend the weekend in the mental hospital. Because this is when she goes to meet up with Becca, who has gone crazy because of what happened to Katie.
She can't see TV. That's why she was being walked with that curtain.
Yeah, the curtain in front of her.
Yeah.
Which is pretty,
So she must have seen it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Just walk
Can you walk around with me?
Please
all day?
Block me away from everything.
It's a condition.
But so that means if she's very afraid of the TVs, she must have been in that room. It's just she didn't die because she didn't see the tape, but she saw what had happened.
Right.
Right?
She could have seen Samara coming out of the screen, I guess.
That's what I'm
back
thinking.
in.
Or
She's just trying to scurry back in. Rebecca comes.
That would make me shit myself. I mean, Jesus, I would not want to look at a TV at all.
Absolutely, you're right. So we understand why she's in there.
Yeah.
I'm on Becca's side.
Logical.
100%.
Yes,
for sure.
Absolutely.
For sure. She's broken as a person, and even when Rachel's questioning her, she's just
kind of like Samara in her mental hospital.
Yeah, she's got the hair all in front of her face, and she's done.
Yeah, she's done.
Her brain is just fried, and Rachel's not really getting through to her at all. What did you see?
How did she die?
How did she die?
So she brings up the tape.
Yeah, brings up the tape, and she's holding both of her hands. And then she was Becca's 4.
Yeah, she puts her hand into the 4 days.
4 days.
And after this, I guess after she's at the mental hospital, she goes to the broadcast studio and brings out these big gun machines where she's running the tape through. In the broadcast studio is where she bends the tape to show the lighthouse.
Mm-hmm.
She somehow
found
warps,
lighthouse.
Warps the. She's pushing the dial past what it even's supposed to go.
500.
Somehow there's more tape there.
And
she sees the lighthouse. I don't know how that works.
Yeah, I have no idea.
And then she pulls out the fly.
Yes.
And she starts bleeding.
Yeah.
The truth bleed.
Mm-hmm.
The truth bleed.
The truth bleed.
Yeah, she pulls it out of the screen.
But what was that moment?
The fly?
The fly, her getting the fly out.
Well, that kind of establishes this idea of things coming from the screen and into. Because we see that later with Samara.
Oh, you're right.
So that establishes that it is possible.
And that this girl's not crazy.
Oh.
Becca's not completely crazy. It's just
she's not seeing things.
It's time to double down.
Oh shit.
Because we do see the fly moving while the film is still, and it's still kind of twitching.
Yeah, she finds the lighthouse and gets a screenshot of it before she gets out of there.
Yeah.
And then goes to the library. It's Sunday now.
Yeah.
Every time we get a new day, it's a big bass sound.
Yes.
Okay, it's getting closer and closer.
It definitely hits you like a wave.
Mm-hmm.
Water.
Oh, and she goes to the library, and luckily the first lighthouse research book she opens.
Absolutely, right there.
Oh, there it is.
It matches.
Complete match.
Yep.
Huh. Well, guess I don't even have to use my library card. Take these books out.
Yep.
And she learns that it's Moesco Island. And that's when she does some more research on the island, and we find out about Anna Morgan. Yeah, we see that very awfully photoshopped photo.
So bad.
Of
don't
her.
Recreate it, just put her in it.
Absolutely.
Just take a picture.
But also, not only does she stand out because she is a little bit taller than everybody, but, she's wearing completely all black.
Mm-hmm.
And then everybody else is wearing, light colors.
Yeah. Yeah, she is very out of place.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And Rachel recognizes her from the tape because that's who was brushing
Mm-hmm.
her hair in the mirror.
Yes.
So immediately she sees her and is like, whoa, who's this lady? Then we go down an Anna Morgan rabbit hole of
Mm-hmm.
newspaper research and shit, and
She
we
has
find
won
out
a bunch of
she was a horse breeder,
breeder.
and so her horses won a bunch of awards, and their farm was on Moeski Island, and I think that we also learn
We saw the images of the dead horses in the water,
Mhm.
which
Yes.
we saw on the tape.
That there was a mysterious horse sickness that ended up consuming all of them, and they all jumped off the shore.
yeah, it's like the sickness caused them to kill themselves.
Yes.
They just jumped in the water and drowned themselves. And then I think that kind of ends with
Depression.
Oh,
yikes.
God.
And then it ends with her learning that Anna Morgan also killed herself. But now it's Monday. Someone's got a case in the Mondays.
Aw.
And we're with Noah.
Mondo Mondays.
Mondo Mondays. And we're in a convenience store with Noah. And he's buying cigarettes. And he sees himself in the security footage. And his face
It's all warbled.
has
Oh,
that
yeah.
horrible, bad
Right
horrible
after the
face.
cashier was like, "These are gonna kill you," which also like terrible for your business.
You're
to
gonna-
tell
You're gonna
your
die.
customers
That is what she said. And then she was like, yeah, the cigarettes that you're buying, because my cousin died
Oh.
from smoking these.
Oh, thank
Yeah, I
you.
was like, is everybody going to know that you are dead? Because, like, Becca knew.
Yeah.
Becca knew. Well, now Noah's like, shit. Poops his pants a little bit.
Yep.
And he gets out of there.
I put heart monitor gag scene.
Yeah, she like
Yikes.
it's interesting how they get to it because she's getting herself water and the camera's only focusing on the pitcher of water even after she puts it down. And then right after she takes a sip from the water glass is when she's like and she starts
like all the fun. She's like, oh, wait.
hold on. And then she starts pulling like what looks like hair, like black hair
Yeah. It's
out of her
gross.
like
It could have been-
long.
Very much.
It probably was. It
Yeah.
looked like the kid's hair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Samara.
Samara.
Yeah.
and it leads, yeah, you're right, to like that medical heart monitor patch or whatever.
I am so sorry. I'm
Oh.
never going to be able to see these scenes. Like in Raw, too. She was taking out hair from her mouth.
Yeah, it was a lot of hair. It was a lot of purging. Again, this is a character that's been swallowing a lot of
Feelings.
grief and feelings in
Mhm.
general. So she's now purging out something
Oh.
dark. Something dark. Samara is coming out of her. So, and then the next scene we see Samara because she goes into Aiden's room and Samara's sitting in the center of his room.
Oh, yeah.
In the chair, like surrounded by water.
Water.
And,
Yeah, with the TV on.
Mhm.
Ugh.
And she's like, Aiden, and grabs her, and we do like a quick medical room flashback.
Yeah.
But she wakes up the next day, and it's all a dream. This is also after she wakes up, she finds Aiden, who just finished watching the tape.
Oh,
Right.
yeah. Yes.
Aiden was a little curious.
Aiden was a little too curious. He couldn't sleep because he got a big meeting at work tomorrow. And so
He
watched the tape.
yeah.
And she like rips the tape out, the copy of that she made, and throws it under the couch in this moment.
Mhm.
And leaves it there.
And leaves it there.
Leaves it there and
Later.
That won't come back later.
but then she like she tries to like cover Aiden's eyes. She's like, no, why, Aiden? And he was like, I couldn't sleep.
And it's kind of this idea, like, again, around this time when this movie came out, like it was hard for parents to shelter their kids from the awfulness of the world.
Yeah.
So she's essentially helpless now. He has his own time clock. He's got 7 days, and the phone does ring after this moment. She's helpless now. She can't do anything. Time is ticking now.
Mm-hmm.
It's like
So she, like,
helplessness
picks it up.
of the awfulness of the world coming at you, and we can't protect our children from that.
Yeah.
But now she knows if she can't save herself first, she can't save him. And it's like, you gotta fucking self-heal.
Grind.
You know? Yeah.
These last 3
Yeah.
days, you gotta grind.
Well, because
No
now,
sleep.
yeah, finally, it somewhat feels like she is in this for Aiden.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Finally, like, there's this moment of, like, her being a mother, like, protecting her kid. Because
Mhm.
now, yeah, you're right. It's, like, at this whole new level of stakes for her. Because if she dies in the next 3 days, who's going to help him?
Yeah, and then the father's almost, now that we know the second phone call, so it was Samara that called. She picks it up and hangs it up, and then there's a second phone call.
Yeah.
And then she picks it up, and she's like, "What do you want?" And he's like,
It's me, Daddy.
he's like, "I believe you." And then we, like, pan out to, like, multiple pictures of his face wordled.
Wordle. Yep.
And then she's like, "Our son watched it."
Yes. Now we got boom, Tuesday. Getting closer. Day before. And this is like Noah and Aiden have like this very like upfront conversation with each other in the car
Oh, yeah.
about like, he's like, "Do you wish I was around more?" And Aiden's like, No. Do you want to be around more? And Noah's like, "Well, I just don't want to be a bad dad." They have this like a very like adult conversation about their relationship.
Mm-hmm. That couldn't have happened without Aiden, because the dad wasn't asking any of the right questions.
Yeah. Exactly.
These kids are fucking therapists.
Yeah, you're right. Like, he was like the one who was kind of like pulling it out of him, and Noah kind of reveals that it doesn't sound like he had a good relationship with his father, and what I kind of took from it is that he was afraid that he was going to turn out like his father, so instead of trying to be a father, he just didn't want to be a dad at all.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why he kind of hasn't been a father to Aiden.
Yeah.
And then the scene kind of ends with Aiden being like, "Well, I'm open to you trying." I think that's what he kind of says.
Yeah.
"I wouldn't mind if you came around."
Because he said, "Oh, we had you when, we were young," and then he cuts him off. Aiden cuts him off, and he's like, "Yeah, that's what Mom said too." That's what Rachel said.
No, he says "Mom" in that scene for the first time.
Oh, okay.
I wrote that down. He actually says, because that's the first time we hear him refer to her as Mom,
Mm-hmm.
when he's talking about their relation. He obviously wants his mom and his dad
He's
back.
a kid, yeah.
He just lost a family member.
Yeah.
He
Mm-hmm.
wants to like restructure any other family he has.
Noah's going to go to the hospital to see if they can get any records on Anna.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And then Rachel's going to go to the island back. She's going to go to the farm, the horse farm.
To see if they can talk to the dad at least.
Yeah. So they split up. Rachel goes on the ferry. And this is when we get the whole ferry excursion scene.
I just don't understand why she thought that by going to a horse who was already afraid that she was going to be able to like tame the horse. It's like, no, that something about you is scaring him. The only logical thing to do is for you to back up and leave the damn horse alone.
Yeah. Well, I think though,
That was a dumb character moment.
very
sure.
dumb.
I'm
She
just
should
like,
not have
what?
been trying to comfort this horse. Just leave it alone.
Yeah.
But also, I think that the horse wasn't afraid of her. It was afraid of getting to the island because it sensed that place is bad.
Yeah.
So
I've heard the tales of all
I've
these
heard
other
the tales
horses.
of Moesco Island.
Nay.
Nay. Definitely doesn't want to go there. Right before this moment, though, she's like looking through her research on the ferry, and this is the moment when she finds out that Anna had a daughter.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't know that she had a daughter up until this moment when she reads in the paper. It's like a newspaper about a jockey falling off of one of the horses and like getting really injured, and then it says Anna was watching while holding her baby, and she's like, "Baby, daughter, who's the daughter?" Horse gets loose does not want to go to that island, and
It neighs over a car. It was like, no!
And also, yeah, she did that stupid movie thing where they run in the same direction as whatever is about to fall on them instead of taking 3 steps to the right, which always cracks me up.
yeah.
I'm just like, come on. Or at least try and see, I don't know.
Yeah.
Ugh.
They needed that horse to jump off. We need to see the imagery of the
Absolutely.
blood and water. To,
It was inevitable.
they just had to get us there.
Absolutely.
Just like getting 7 days into the future, that was inevitable.
Yep.
Because the horse does do a equestrian attempt and then kind of trips up, and then unfortunately blenders
under the boat.
the boat. Poor guy. Rachel's back at the horse farm, and she ends up questioning Mr.
Morgan.
Yes, who's the father or Anna's husband, and now we learn father of their daughter. And she says that she's a journalist there about the mysterious horse deaths or whatever. And he's like, oh, journalists come now and again when they hear about that.
Yeah.
It's interesting what he says because he says, there's a mysterious sickness where they put themselves down.
Right.
And then he says something about they can sense, sometimes they can sense things that we can't. And then then she asks him, where are all your horses now? And he says, I don't breed anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Now, knowing how this movie ends, is he talking about breeding horses or is he talking about breeding himself? Because when he and his wife did breed or have a daughter, it was a demon child. She asks him about the tape.
Yes.
And that's when he reacts and is like, did you make a copy of the tape?
Mm-hmm.
I think you should go. He just immediately shuts down and is like, you got to get out of here.
And he denies having a daughter. He's like, my wife couldn't have a child.
Yeah, I don't have a daughter.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And then she says, well, I think it's a message from your wife. And I think that's when he realized, well, when he asked her, if she's made a copy, that she was, kind of safe. And he was like, well, you if I see this again, I will fucking die.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Yeah, do you think he knows the rules of the tape?
I mean, I'm pretty sure that's the reason why there's copies and they never seem to be destroyed.
Well, there was just that one. I think she made the only other kind of physical copy because I'm assuming it was at the tavern inn. I mean, I don't know. They don't explain how to tape. Who maybe the mom saw, which drove her to insanity, ended up there, right?
Well, we know the tape ends up somehow at the shelter Mountain Inn because that's where she died.
Right. I don't know. I kind of took it as especially now that we know where the movie ends, it was just misdirection. Because I thought it was oh, she's safe because it exposes him in some way. And he was just okay, I guess I can't fucking hook you right now.
Well, yeah, and that could be a reason why he just tells her to leave. But also if I was the dad, I wouldn't follow up with the question, did you make a copy? I would have asked maybe did you destroy it or something.
Oh, interesting.
So that is when...
why did he even just bring that up?
Yeah, that's my thought process of he knows that this needs to be copied and they will never stop, which pursues him at the later why he decides to do what he did.
And then Noah somehow learns that there's tapes. There's
of the mental hospital.
Of the mental hospital, and the father requested them to be...
He flips it on the finder side and it said dad requested
destroying tapes or something.
Yeah, and then it had the number of the tape circle.
Yeah, so he goes off to try to find that tape. Yeah, and in the meantime, Rachel is going to visit the doctor of the island. I didn't catch her name, but she says she's the only doctor on the island. And that's when she asks her about Samara. This is when we get the backstory of...
where Samara came from.
Yeah, Anna and the father were trying to get pregnant for years. That's all they wanted. and they just could never do it. And one day they went off for a little bit, and when they came back, they had Samara. So it's very ambiguous as
Very
to
ambiguous.
whose child it actually is. But then
The child's
scene,
growing up.
the scene kind of turns when like bad things just started to surround. They had their child and they were super happy, but bad things just started to happen around the farm. The horse sickness, other like crops died, whatever. Bad things started happening
On the island.
on the whole island.
On the island.
Yeah.
And she described it as when somebody in the island gets a cold, everybody has that cold.
Yeah. And we go back to the farm because Rachel's got to have it. She's got to get that info. And she, lets herself in.
She said her name.
Mr. Morgan!
It's
Mr.
Rachel.
Morgan!
She lets herself in and goes over to the TV or finds like the records or something.
The birth certificate
Yeah.
and hospital records.
Mm-hmm.
A couple of them.
Yeah.
And then there's a centipede that comes out.
And she finds a tape. She finds a tape that was missing from that case that Noah was looking for.
Mm-hmm.
And she pops it in. And it's first it's like a time lapse of like Samara just standing in her room and like the clock is just going so fast and she's just like walking around like fast forward.
Like she's just like standing there for an hour. She's over here for like couple of hours. Over here for a couple of hours.
And then it cuts to an interviewer interviewing her about why she's there. And he's like saying, we know you don't want to hurt anybody. And then she's like, yes, I do.
Yeah.
I do want to hurt
What
people.
are these pictures for?
Yeah, he pulls out the like weird negatives
Yeah.
that she made.
Yeah,
And
I really couldn't make them all out.
One was like a horse, one was
Like
like they're just like kid drawings almost.
Yeah.
But she says something like, he's like, how do you make these?
He's like, I don't make them. I see them. And so then they are.
Yeah. Like she just pops them out of her brain or something.
Yeah. And then they actually happen.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's a bad therapist. Is like, no, you're lying.
You're lying.
Kind of goes off on her.
And she's like, I want to see my mommy. And she's like, no, you're not going to see your mommy because she's fucking dead.
Yeah, because you... Well, no, she's
she's not dead.
She's not dead.
No.
But they do say something to the effect of like, we know you don't want to hurt her. So clearly something's been going on where Samara has been hurting the mom in some way. And they do kind of establish that the mom was going crazy. She was seeing things, these crazy images that Samara was obviously putting in her head.
Mm-hmm.
And then they say something about her dad, and she's like, no, Daddy is bad. Daddy doesn't like me.
Daddy loves the horses. He wants me gone.
Ugh.
Right. Sounds like Daddy may have killed her.
But yes. But he doesn't know. Yeah, really, like, after that, I think Rachel, she thinks that the dad killed her.
Mm-hmm. He also knocks the shit out of her.
He also hits her in the face because he pops up behind her and then boom,
which he has every right to. She broke in.
Is a trespasser.
I mean yes. But also don't hit women.
Also don't do that. And he just like blows past her and just picks up the TV. Picks up the TV and goes upstairs for a nice bath. And she's like chasing after him.
Well, oh yeah, because he has the extension cord around him.
Yep. And
with like some wires in them.
Yeah, she's like chasing him up the stairs and she's like, you killed her, you killed your daughter. And he's like, my wife was never meant to get pregnant.
Ugh.
And she's not my daughter. Shit like that,
Yeah. Which then I'm assuming that it's truly not his.
Right.
Really.
Yeah.
He didn't impregnate her.
Yeah, no, they made a deal with the devil.
It seems like a devil deal gone wrong. Well, how they would always go,
Right.
Bad.
Well, for the devil, it went right.
Yeah, he's...
Samara's my homie.
Thank you. And he says something to the effect of like, "Oh, the things she would show you," like talking about the daughter, like the things that she would show you in your mind, make you go crazy from all these fucking images. And then yeah, he gets in the tub and he's got all these wires and like electrical equipment going straight into the water. And then
with the middle is like for the horses.
The horse, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
the little clamp thing, and then click, fucked up, blows the fuse on his head.
That scene is so loud.
Yes.
Yeah, I did not like it.
Oh my god, I'm complaining like I'm an 80-year-old woman, but fuck.
Yeah, it was loud.
He had like TVs in there and shit.
I mean,
sure. You know?
I had to turn the movie louder because like the scenes that were quiet were super quiet.
That's what I'm saying.
They like force you to turn it up.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So now these scenes that are super, super loud are like really, really in your ears. Then Noah shows up just in time. She like remembers that he told her that the horses would keep her awake. Samara.
Mhm.
The horses would keep Samara awake. So she's like, wait, the barn. Let's go to the barn. That's where they keep the horses.
Right.
And so they go into the barn, and what's in the barn but the tall ass ladder?
The red fucking ladder.
And it's going somewhere this time.
Actually goes
Yeah.
somewhere.
But there is a beautiful image of them going up the stairs, and the only source of light is on that little room,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
and then it looks like they're just like climbing to nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Yeah, because it's super dark in there, and all you see is them climbing that ladder. And when they get to the top, it's a little girl's room. It's Samara's room.
yeah.
Set up, I mean, pretty clean looking considering how long ago that was. But yeah,
True.
classic little girl room, you know,
She had the seesaw horse.
seesaw horse, like little blocks, a little bed, and
The
then
little
carousel.
carousel.
Mm-hmm.
And then,
Still going.
and then, of course, the TV
And the chair.
and the chair. Because Rachel says something like, oh, she was all alone up here. And then Noah, like, indicating to the TV is like, not all alone. This is all she had was her TV. The idea that that's, like, the only thing that she's consuming, again, going back to the idea of the danger of, like, media consumption. Like, that was the only thing that she had.
We're raising our children with these TVs.
Mm-hmm. And then what did she use against people to get what she wanted, like, through her evil ways, was through TV.
Through TV?
Yeah.
Damn.
And it's like a fun, like, juxtapose. Like, now it's turned from, like, one family that's struggling. Like, the parents aren't together with, like, this kid that's estranged. And now she's, like, trying to confront this very fucked up family where, like, you don't know everything still going on. Like, is it the dad? Is it the mom? Is it the kid? And, like, the TV's what, like, brings these two families together.
They reveal, like, this, behind the wallpaper, this, like, burnt tree. And she's like, I've seen this before. And that sends them back to
The Shelter Mountain Inn.
Shelter Mountain Inn.
Mm-hmm.
And back to, they even say it, we're back to where we started.
Ring.
Ring.
Ring-a-ding-ding.
Why don't we hit us over the
That's
head
a
with
ring,
it?
that's a ring, that's a ring.
And
This is a ring.
It is Wednesday. This is officially Wednesday.
Yes.
We're
It's
back.
It's her last day.
It's our last day.
Oh no.
It's
You're
our final
gonna
day.
die on your birthday.
I'm gonna die on my birthday.
A week from now?
A week from now. Sure. Well, oh
Happy
well.
birthday ahead.
Yeah. Go out with a bang.
Yeah, true.
Wednesday we're in the cabin and they're like, why are we back here? Like, why would they send us back here? Noah starts spiraling. He's like, we're gonna figure it out. We got this. It's okay. And he like hits marbles all over the floor. And
Oh,
then,
that's what happened.
yeah.
I went
He,
to
like,
the
freaks
bathroom a
out.
second time.
And then they like all centralize like over a carpet. And they're like, wait a second. What's under there? Oh my god! It's a weird water stain.
That's a good detective, mindset.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have thought about that. I don't
Hey,
think
she's
so.
still on. Rachel's still in investigation mode. She's not going to give up on this case.
She's a great... You know what? Maybe after journalism, maybe she should go into, some detective work.
Yeah. She's like an investigative journalist essentially.
Right.
Yeah. Oh,
So,
okay.
she's pretty much doing
I
it.
think she deserves a vacation, personally.
She definitely
yes.
needs a vacation. She needs a
You know
some
who else needs a
little
vacation?
boy time.
Aiden.
Fucking Aiden needs a vacation.
My God, that
he needs
boy.
to clock in all the PTO and.
Yeah. Yeah. He's got to take some vacation days off from the office and cash in, baby.
Cash in. Just relax.
But then fucking Monster Man Noah comes in and like 3 swings of the axe. He's
big asshole.
a huge hole.
I mean, maybe that's what he did also to Rachel.
Ow. Damn, boy.
Well, now I've got
3
that stuck in
swings.
my head.
My bad.
Yeah, but he axes a huge hole in the ground and they reveal the well. The well was underneath.
Noel.
Noel. It was underneath the cabin 12 the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know why they do this, but they uncover it. I'm like, why? Why
Yeah.
are we doing this?
It's like Pandora's box. Do not fucking open it.
Yeah.
Yeah, stop feeling bad for this girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, stop.
Well, she's a child, so I guess, like, in a sense, like...
Well, for Rachel, too, this is the last day. Like, I guess they're going to do whatever they have to do to finish or get the mystery,
Mhm.
Figure out the mystery, because she has nothing to lose at this point.
Besides
So
her
might as well
son.
get to the bottom of it.
Ooh!
So they're like looking down in there. Meanwhile, TV starts leaking.
We know what that means.
TV's peeing.
And then the nails are, like, popping out, you know?
Was like hair coming out from the nail? Was hair like the thing that was pushing the nails?
I'm gonna say
No.
yes.
I thought I saw some hair like wrapped around the nails.
I think there's hair everywhere.
there's hair everywhere.
Everywhere.
And then
Big holes and lots of hair. That's what
I-
these two are in for.
how did this even progress? Because the nails fell out, and then like the floor
Yeah.
kind of caves in,
And
and
knocked him over.
the TV then comes at her and is a thing that knocks her into the
Into
well.
the well.
TVs are physically attacking people
Now
at this
the
point
TV
of
Almost
the movie.
actually kills her physically. And
Bring
she's
it
like
back.
looking around. She sees like scratch marks on the inside of the well. And
Some nails.
Nice little,
Oh.
little girl nails. Little girl. Ooh.
Ugh.
And then she starts like feeling around the water, and she's like black, just hair, like hairs everywhere. Hairs everywhere. And then another
Hand
arm-
slap.
hand arm slap grab.
This little girl.
Yeah.
Fuck.
And
And it's
then-
very bright.
We go back to
Yeah.
reality. Oh, there goes gravity. And then we see what happened at this well. We're back into what Shelter Mountain used to look like. Like fucking beautiful
Horses over there.
on the hill with the red tree. Nice little well. The girl's like singing. But then her mom, Anna, comes up from behind her, and she's like, isn't it beautiful here? And it's all so pleasant. And all
Girl's just deadpanning the screen. She's like, "You're about to fucking of mice and men me
Yeah,
right
she's like,
now, aren't
just
you?"
look at the pretty horses. Look at the pretty horses. All I wanted was you. Bags her head, chokes her out, and then throws her in the well.
Yeah.
She thought she was dead, but turns out that
She should have choked her out longer.
I guess Samara survived the fall too. Everyone's surviving these falls into wells somehow. I don't know.
Your face.
It's incredible well. The walls are very padded, so you don't hit off. And
She had a buffer with the bag on top of her
That's
head.
true. And
Very thin buffer.
Very
I'm
thin
so
buffer.
sorry. That was such a funny face.
Samara survived 7 days in the well and died. But this is when Rachel like learns the truth that Anna killed her daughter, and she's like, she just wanted to be heard. And there's this moment where Rachel's in the well and she's holding Samara, like
Who's looking fantastic.
looking great,
Oh yeah.
fully formed, just died
Flesh.
maybe,
Yeah.
and she just like withers away. And Rachel's like, she just wanted her story to be known. She just wanted to be heard.
I did it.
I broke
I am
the
a
curse.
detective
I-
journalist.
Yay, I did it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's this like moment, like the movie's over. She kind of is like, yeah, Samara her mother killed her, and she just wanted to be heard. Sometimes children don't say things; they do things, and
They draw.
And they, wait a second, I've been a horrible mother.
I'm killing my son by making him grow up at 6 years old and getting a job.
I spent the last 2 hours focused on this little girl when I should have just been focused on my own child this whole fucking time.
Mm-hmm.
Duh. We knew that.
Noah
No,
should get back
Rachel.
together and form a strong, solid family structure for him.
Yeah, there's this nice moment where they go and pick up Aiden. She's sleeping in the back of the car, peaceful, and they kind of like hold hands for a second.
And he smiles.
And it's all just great. Aiden wakes up, and everyone's still feeling safe, and he's like, "Did you free her?" And she's like, "Yeah, we freed her, and everything's all safe." And immediately Noah's like, "Why would you do that?
You dumb bitch.
Why would you set her free?"
What did he say? Did you help her? You don't understand.
Yeah, it's like, why the fuck would you set her free? She never sleeps.
She never sleeps, meaning
She don't sleep ever.
ever. She don't sleep physically, and she will never stop killing because her murder spree.
Because guess what? Bad guy this whole time wasn't Anna. It wasn't Richard Morgan. It was little girl Samara. Turns out she was a bad seed from the start.
Absolutely.
And her whole goal this whole time was just to cause pain, kill. So we go over to Noah, because it is his day 7.
Mm-hmm.
Yikes.
Yikes, man.
And he was real good about it.
I mean, this is like, this whole time, we've only seen Samara in flashes or as like the little girl. This is the first time that we get the full-on, we see what happens to you on the 7th day. And I'm glad they waited until like the very last 10 minutes of the movie to have this happen.
Mm-hmm.
Because it really builds it up. And I absolutely love that image of her climbing out of the TV.
That's scary.
Yeah.
Very scary.
That is what was imprinted in my mind as a little girl when the first time I saw this. And I was just like, this is so fucking eerie.
Mm-hmm.
Because it still holds up.
Yeah.
You know?
It's iconic.
Yeah, because like they make her very like, staticky and blue, and I think that's the spirit that was haunting Samara. I don't know.
I think Samara was bad.
That's
Oh,
all her.
you did. I always took it as like that is Samara.
Yeah.
I mean, it is Samara,
But like it's a thing
but
that
it
took
is
over.
the magical essence of
Mm.
her, because
Her-
her body is dead.
Well, yes,
But, like,
of course. Yeah, her evil being lives on in the tape, because they established that she made the tape. So because she was able to conjure up those like weird negatives from nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So being in her room alone gave her time to conjure up this fucking tape.
Yeah, she had a
that
TV. So.
that would make her evil spirit live on forever.
like a fucking Voldemort just puts his
kind of like a Horcrux.
Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah,
because she goes to the house after that scene, crushes the original tape,
mm-hmm.
burns it, thinking that's gonna solve something.
It's like a last-ditch effort. And yeah, she's screaming, "Why not me?" And then she has that memory of Samara just wants to be heard. She was right. She does just want to be heard.
Just not in the way you want her to be.
Not in a good way, though.
Not in a good way.
And she remembers she made a copy. And showed it to somebody.
Mm-hmm.
So she goes back under the couch and finds that copy that
she kind of showed it twice, essentially.
Essentially, yeah.
So she's super safe.
So she's super, super safe.
She's just
And
canceled out.
Whether it's morally or ethically right, she has Aiden make a copy as well. So now he's safe.
But
But
he
then
has to show it to someone new.
Then he asks, "What about the people that we show it to?"
What's gonna happen to them? And she's like, shh, you are safe.
You will be safe. Everything will be okay.
And that's like she is like risking the rest of the world for her son versus Samara's mom was like, I'm going to like get rid of you to save everyone else. And it's just like another nice, like, you know, diametric position that they take, even though they're like both terrible mothers.
Wow. All right, cool.
Wow.
The ring. Well, let us get to some Smash Pumpkin ratings. Armando, would you like to start us off? Out of 5 Smash Pumpkins, what do you think?
I'm really conflicted because now that I'm older, I did like some of the ideas they were trying to go for.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they were all carried out that great. Or just like the movie could have tried a little different stuff. But like the more I talked about it, the more I was like, oh, the movie actually did know what it was kind of going for. I'm gonna go with 3 Smashing Pumpkins.
All
Very
right.
solid.
I enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I was going to.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
I'm gonna rate it just a little bit higher. I'm just gonna do a whole 4.
Full
A
4.
whole 4. What I really enjoyed about this movie is the heavy imagery of it and how it ties back, and then as our main character's moving throughout, we're getting glimpses of what was on the video or in the VHS and stuff like that. I know we talked about the coloration of this film and the overall just like blue, green, gray type of color. And I understand it, and I think in a way it's cool, but it does something to my brain where it just like not having any form of color is very like my mind is constantly trying to fill in color and it like hurts my head. And that's exactly the same feeling that I had with Twilight, where it's just like this blue tone and it's just like very, very monotone. And again, I understand, but at the same time, I just wish it didn't.
It's not your
No.
aesthetic. It's not your,
No, I can do a black and white movie a lot easier because we still have tonal changes of just like what's a shadow, what's a, highlights and shit. But with blues, it's just a little harder.
Yeah, definitely this time I think I was more surprised at the investigation aspect of it. Like, I never really had thought about it as like a true crime movie, but it almost is with like how we're unfolding the story. And I like all the little piecemeal way that they're giving it to us, and one clue leading to another. It makes the story flow nice with each other, and it makes scenes feel like they're just going naturally into each other. So I thought that the pacing of the movie was really nice. And yeah, I think another main plus of this movie is the imagery. You know, we're seeing a lot of really cool shots. And this movie is all about a tape, so I guess it should be about imagery and the effect that imagery has on us as people. And then taking it like even farther out of that, I think that the theme of like this family, the juxtaposition that we're seeing between these two families is really interesting, and the power of TVs within families and within our own society, I think is really cool, especially looking back on this movie 20 years later, how these things do still hold up and how they're even more extreme now. It's really interesting. My main struggle that I always have with this movie is the performances by the actors. I thought Naomi Watts was pretty good. I didn't like the dad's performance particularly. I just think he's a little flat sometimes.
Oh no, he is.
And there wasn't much going on there. The son, I thought, was the best actor of all.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Very much like a Sixth Sense type of vibe of like the little kid is just like really good.
Yeah, he's really good.
We all love seeing a depressed child on screen, like just like haunted.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Very Haley Joel Osment, Naomi Watts. does a good job of carrying us through. I struggle with her character mostly because I don't think I like her that much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the fact that we have to be with her the whole time is sometimes I'm like, meh. But overall, I think it's a really good movie. Does hold up. There's a reason that why it was so iconic when it came out. So I think I'm gonna give this movie a 4 as well.
Nice.
For those reasons.
Okay.
Wow. Well, that was fun.
Yeah, that was really great.
Let us end this podcast by picking what we're going to
Oh, yeah.
watch next
We
time.
get to choose.
Armando. There's many in there. Go on in. So many movies. So when you pick it, read the description first.
And you gotta try to guess
and
what
then
it is.
we'll see if we can
Yes.
guess what it is.
All right.
All right, let's see what you got.
Do I have 2 in here by accident? I have 2 in
Oh.
here. Oh, no, this is 1. It's
Okay,
just
cool.
It's
long-
folded.
It's
It's-
very, very... Keeps going. It keeps going. Like
We
the hair.
haven't had any modern ones, like 2020 or 20.
True. Nothing in the 2020s yet. What do we got, Armando?
So, a deaf and mute writer who retreated into the woods to live a solitary life must fight for her life in silence when a masked killer appears at her window.
Oh.
This is a fun one.
This is a fun one.
I really enjoyed this movie, actually.
We are watching Hush.
Yep.
Hush. Is it that one that like the man is like
Mhm.
writing stuff on the window?
On the window when
Mhm.
she's like
Yeah.
trapped inside.
Okay.
Have you not seen that one yet?
No, because
Well, fun.
slasher.
It's gonna be a good one.
Yeah.
Cool.
That one's an intense one.
Cool.
Oh man.
Hush. Next week. Armando, thank you so much for
Yeah.
joining us for the Deadlights pod.
This is oodles of fun.
Awesome. Well, last plugs.
Yeah. Follow me on Instagram. Color me Leslie.
And you can find me at Beep Beep Richie T and also the Deadlights pod. That's us. And also check out Playground Social, which is the studio that we are recording this at.
It is.
But until next time,
Let's get spooky.
I am going to come out of the TV. Coming out of the TV.
Into this. Do not look into this.
You got 7 days.